talk about your body once again and something called sugar. Yeah, sugar. One thing all of us love. Okay, I don't know if you know anybody or you've met someone who had what he considered a minor scratch on the leg. From that minor scratch to a big wound. From a big wound to something that went septic and could not just heal. And unfortunately, that leg, or sometimes both, got amputated. Do you know someone like that? Okay, I do, alright. And doctors say it's all about sugar that all of us love. And they call it something called diabetes. Don't forget, this is Men's Health Unscripted. I am neither a doctor nor a herbalist, but I'm just one man that is curious about staying healthy as a man. And I have the blessings of two people on the set with me, as always, who know a lot more than I do about this men's health issue. Welcome on board. My name is Ayo Jimmy, and I have with me the area father himself, Charlie Boy, of course. Is it a Guru one? I mean, what's that your title? One name. All right, you know him. He is Charlie Boy, as we know him, area father. And if you have seen his website or you've come across his, content online about the Charlie Boy Foundation, which he actually established to, fight or let me say to sensitize people, men, about three things essentially: mental health in men, diabetes management in men, and of course prostate health in men. Those three core pillars that define the new male, the new masculinity today. If you are very, very conscious, he's here with me, and of course he has a backbone, who is the CEO of the Charlie Boys Foundation, Doris Udensi. I think I want to seek your permission to forgive me. I should have actually introduced her first. After all, it's a woman's world. Welcome on board, Doris. She is the CEO of the Charlie Boy Foundation, and this program, Men's Health Unscripted, is in partnership between the Charlie Boy Foundation and Leo Stan AK Foundation. We'll bring you total health discussion from the point of laymen here. We're not doctors, okay? Although this is the only one, Doris, that has a bit of medical, background that can help educate us, so we can put it in perspectives. Well, I welcome on board. Your opening lines before we even talk about today's whatever. But your opening lines, let them feel you. Let them feel. Make them feel your presence, Baba.
Yeah, good talk.
All right.
Well, it's nice we're having this conversation, and I think men should really prioritize their health. After all, when your car spoils, you're always forcing, because it takes you from one destination to another, and that's how we should also force about our health, so we can live a more healthier life than we're living.
All right. All right, Doris, let me open the floor with you. In my introduction, I mentioned the story of someone, and that was actually a true life story, not fiction. Someone I knew had a little scratch, and all I said. Have you met someone, or have you heard about people, or have you read about people who had that kind of experience? They thought it was nothing, and it became something that was defining, their existence.
Yes, I've met and seen thousands of people in my life. I'm in the medical field for over 25 years
Wow.
now. I'm a PA first, what we call physician assistant, and then I'm a pharmacist. So in the line of my work, I've met many people like that. And personally, friends, family, and stuff, I've seen that. Recently, about a month ago, I lost somebody very close to me from that.
Wow.
From what you described, the little scratch and all that, is called diabetic ulcer.
Okay. Thanks for the education. You see, I told you I'm not a doctor here. Okay.
So it's called diabetic ulcer. And what we know, I know a lot of people, especially here in our country, don't know. Everybody say, I have ulcer. Don't eat pepper because it gives you ulcer. Ulcer just means wound. That's what ulcer is. It's a wound. If it's in your stomach, it's when your stomach wall are eating up itself, especially from the acid in your stomach becomes corrosive and it starts to eat on your lining, your stomach lining. That's what ulcer is. So when you have it anywhere else, it's still ulcer. But when you have high blood sugar, which is what we call diabetes, and it gives in what happens is your body, it doesn't matter your leg, your eye, whatever, it starts to eat of itself. It will not heal. You know. And what causes that is that what is responsible for that, you have two hormones that your body produce. That those hormones regulate sugar, because anything we eat has to be turned into sugar for us to have the energy, for the body to have the energy that it needs to function. Those hormones are produced in your intestine. So what they do is they break the food down. The second is called GIP and GLP-1. So the GIP is like the traffic warden. It tells the insulin where to go, because the insulin will carry the sugar that has been converted from whatever you eat in your stomach, and then it tells it, it opens up the cell, the gates to the cell where it will be stored as energy.
Okay.
So now, when those hormones, when your body is not producing it, because as you get old, the older you get, the more all the hormones in your body production reduces. It doesn't produce as much as it used to produce when we were younger. So naturally, everything slows down with age. So now, when the GIP and GLP-1, when they're no longer producing, the body is no longer producing it as often as or as much as it should, what happens is the sugar that are produced just, it dumps it in the bloodstream. It doesn't, these hormones that like get openers, that tells the cell, okay, open up, so this insulin can carry the sugar into the bloodstream to store it as energy. So the insulin just start dumping
Inside the blood.
Inside the blood. It's like your body becomes blind to it.
Wow.
Like it doesn't see it anymore. So that's when you have a lot of sugar in your blood, and everything slows down. You know how sugar is, it clogs up. You know, when you keep sugar for a long time, it melts and it becomes like glue, you know, clogs up. So the artery, the blood won't flow as much as it's supposed to.
And that's the beginning of degradation of the system.
Yes. And then what it does, it converts to fat.
Okay.
That's when you start to notice that your stomach starts getting bigger, your hands, because these places, all these, the thighs, they have more space to store those fats. So it just goes to where it finds space to dump those fats. So that's what diabetes is.
All right. I appreciate the education. Diabetic ulcer, that's what you call it. And it's good to know that ulcer actually means wound, whether it is diabetes related or not. If it is ulcer, it's called wound. But before we come to the, and you've actually given us some background to the clinical pathways that lead to the eventual the high blood sugar. Let's talk to area further now, as somebody who has actually scaled, because they don't talk about, I know that I have read that even little ones can have high blood sugar, but then it's more prevalent from what we read in people 40 and above, and he has scaled that and far. Now there are some symptoms they probably have told you to watch out for, frequent urination and what have you. What were the things that you did?
In terms of diabetics or blood sugars?
No. Diabetes, not you as a person, as in from your interaction, because you are health conscious. I remember in the past episode, one thing that came out was that right from the beginning of your adult life, you've been very, very conscious about your health. So in the course of interaction with people that you've had this kind of maybe with your medical friend and what have you, have there been some things they say, okay, people should watch out for, as if you're seeing this sign as you age, maybe you should go and test for diabetes? Talking there from loose terms, as conversation with your medical friend and people in your network?
Yeah, I know a lot of people who are going through that challenge. Okay, like you may well know, I speak to a lot of men on different issues, especially about their prostate challenge. So I've heard, though I haven't seen anyone, but I've heard a lot of people, you know, faced with the challenge of diabetics. You know, my good friend OBJ Obasanjo has had that and has been managing it for almost 50 years. You know, I have a few people like that who have managed theirs properly. You know, but if the people who are going through the challenge of diabetics, they look anything like OBJ and say they're doing good, you know, because he has managed it properly.
All right. Yeah, I never knew that about Baba OBJ, and it's fine. Let's talk clinically now. What symptoms do men? Because I have been told before that if you go to the toilet to pee more than this number of times in the day, or especially at night, to watch it. And some of us will say it's because we drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of water anyway, and I believe that it is garbage in, garbage out. If you drink more water, you pass out more water. But I think there has to be a set of clinical symptoms that you see that can alert you, or that should alert you that, hey, guy, watch out. Educate us, please.
Yes, when you frequent urination, where it becomes hard with men is this symptom can be from prostate and it can be from diabetes.
So there's an overlap.
Yes, there's an overlap. And just like you rightly said, if you drink a lot of water, you're going to use the bathroom more often too. But if it begins to bother you, you need to have a testing kit. Buy one so you can test your sugar and know how your sugar is. And even when you go to urinate and your urine is supposed to be clear. If it's a little cloudy, you feel like there's cloudiness in your urine and it's yellow, like yellow, something is wrong. Diabetes is knocking at the door if it's not there already. Okay, and if you have edema, what we call edema is retention of water.
Okay.
When your hands, your fingers, and your legs are always swollen, it's diabetes.
Ooh.
So check that out. So yeah, there are a couple of symptoms.
What about fatigue? They say if you are getting tired easily,
yes,
after a day's work, am I not entitled to be tired?
You are entitled to be tired.
I mean, father, you want to speak to that?
Yes. No.
I mean,
you're entitled to be tired.
So, but it's the frequency of the tiredness that we're talking about.
Yes,
okay.
And how much work have you done?
Okay.
You can climb up these stairs. Just climbing up these stairs, you start panting. Something is wrong. It could be even. It could even not be only that. It could be something else that is.
You know my problem with apologies, with healthcare and the diagnosis, especially for those of us that are not in the medical field, is that several symptoms overlap.
Yes.
You said if I climb up and I'm panting, someone will say it's about my cardio.
That's what I'm about to say. It can be something more serious. If it has to do with your heart, that's more serious because you can just get on top of these stairs and just collapse there, and that's it. So once you start to feel those things that you're out of alignment, you do a little thing, you're tired, go and check yourself out. Make sure it doesn't have to do with your heart. Make sure, because diabetes has a twin.
What is this?
Every time somebody is diabetic, they are going to be hypertensive. Every time somebody is hypertensive, it's most likely that person will have diabetes. So they go hand in hand. And those two things combined can give you a heart attack. So all these things are related because that's how our body is interwoven. In our language, in Igbo language, they say when the eye is crying, the nose is crying too.
More often than not. It happens to Ahmed all the time. When his eyes are crying, the nose.
Yes. So our body is interwoven like that. something is wrong with your hand, it's going to affect some part of your body, you know. So that's how it is. But once you notice anything is off, go check yourself and make sure they tell you, you know exactly what it is, because it's when you know what is going on that you know what to treat. But if you're going to the bathroom often and you say, ah, it's probably my prostate or it's probably diabetes, and then you go self-medicate, which Nigeria, we're very good at doing that. We like to go to the pharmacy and get something, especially antibiotics that we don't know, and start taking it. So you have to go really test and pinpoint what is going on so that it can be treated properly.
Okay, let's talk about men's habits now, because she has given us a medical background to the thing. Part of the problem is that a lot of African men experience late diagnosis or no diagnosis until it is out of proportion. Are there cultural factors that predispose African men towards this late diagnosis, and why do men ignore these symptoms? I know you said a lot about prostate, health the last time, but with diabetes, I mean, if we say we are shy to admit that our third leg down there is malfunctioning with respect to prostate, diabetes is not meant to be something you are shy of, because it doesn't. I mean, why do we still find men that ignore this symptom? They are urinating, they are sweating at night, like I read, and why is it
sometimes
like that?
it's just where we're coming from.
And where is that?
For long, the male child has been indoctrinated in a certain kind of way. You hear things like men don't cry, men shouldn't cry, and to be a man is to chest whatever problem, challenges you're facing. You don't have to show weakness by always vocalizing it. And you can just chest it. It's going to be all right. And then you have some people, and a lot in this category, who are just simply not careful with their health. They're too stubborn, to afford. You have some people who say, it's not my portion, or I'm not supposed to, nothing is wrong with me. So I think it's just the male ego. And they have to get over that. Because what really helped me was the fact that I vocalized my challenge so much that, people thought I was just making it up. How can a man just come out like that and say, and they know the work? People couldn't get it.
I'm not just a man, a Charlie boy for that matter.
A Charlie boy that is supposed to be so strong and, all of that. But I think that openness really helped a lot of men, to seek for help. And it also helped me in return, because I started to get acquainted with all the people who are passing through the same challenges. And the opportunity that we could talk to one another was quite healing for me.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about some risk factors that African men should be conscious of, so that they are not they don't fall victim of this. Because I think I read somewhere that sometimes where you're from matters. I'm talking about your race, I don't know, they talk about melanin and what have you. I don't know, all those medical stuff that someone don't understand. What are these risk factors that African men in particular should be conscious of?
Yes, because scientifically it's been confirmed that black race is more prone to have diabetes than other races. So already, if you're black, you are at risk. Number two, family history. If it's in your family, you are at risk. That's 2 strikes out for you. Number three, what you eat. For that one, is across the board. Because
whether black or white.
Black, white, red, and blue, and green. Everybody. It's across the board. Because when you look at the food chain, the staple food is carbohydrate. Your rice, your yam, your potatoes, all that. Beans is carbohydrate. I know we've been told that beans is protein. No, it's
So beans is
carbohydrate. It's a little bit protein, more
Jesus
protein
Christ.
than in other.
I have to collect change from my teachers. Now I must go back and collect change.
Yes, it's carbohydrate. And when you look at the structure, the empirical formula of all this carbohydrate and sugar, you will see that the difference is 2 molecules of hydrogen. Is C10H10O8.
That's organic chemistry you are talking about.
Yes.
Here,
So when you look at the structures, sugar has just 2 molecules of hydrogen more than carbohydrate. They are basically the same thing.
Okay.
So that is why it's easy for carbohydrates to convert to sugar, right? So everybody is eating carbohydrates because whether it's pasta, it's rice, it's bread, all the stable food that will fill you up is carbohydrate. All right. So you watch. That's why when you look at, say, Italians or some Americans or English people, when you come to the table, it's like we eat meat with our food. They eat their food with meat because you have more meat.
There are two. There are two things entirely. Eating meat with your food is not the same as eating food
with
meat.
Yes.
Jesus.
So you come to table for dinner now, you have 3 whole chicken on the table. Or maybe
which one is that? Eating meat with your, which one is that?
That is eating food with your meat. So it's going to be a lot of meat, a lot of vegetable, and little carbohydrate, right? So that's when you're conscious of what you're eating.
Can I interrupt?
Because,
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Isn't there anything like too much protein? I mean, when you put on plenty meat, they're like, you are killing yourself,
Yeah.
But what you just said now is countering that.
Yes, too much of everything is bad. There's a limit to everything. Even water can kill you. Drinking too much water, that's why you can drown. Do you know that you can drink so much water from your cup, drinking water like this, your cells in your body will start to lyse. They'll start to get so much water soaked and they'll start to burst.
Wow.
Right? So there's limits to everything.
Okay, so continue.
So when you eat more protein and more vegetables than carbohydrate, you're being cautious of what you're putting in your body. And protein cannot convert to sugar that easily. Everything at the end of the day will convert to sugar because that's why you eat, for your body to be able to function, for your body to have energy, the heart to have energy to pump the blood. You need sugar.
Okay.
We need sugar, but it's when it becomes too much in the blood, that's when it's bad. We need sugar, we need oil. I know they told us eating oil is not good because your joints cannot move without oil. All right, so you need oil, but in moderation.
All right. Now let's talk about influence and how we can check, this incidence of high blood sugar. But that's where you draw a very big relevance here. Before this interview, I was talking about a lot of people rising on your wings, and some of us are still doing it up till today, and that's probably part of the legacy you're going to bequeath to the world. A lot of somebody said you have to count your sources in the context of how many people actually rose through you. Now you're one person with influence in Nigeria and beyond, and you are using it, at least with this one, to sensitize men to be more conscious of their health, their mental health, their diabetic health, and their prostate health, which is actually good. Why don't a lot of men with as much influence as you do take this up as a challenge? Why? Because you have a choice. You could at your old age, you have a right to sit down in your house and keep quiet about a lot of things. As long as you are fine, you are fine. We've been here when, before we even finished the one interview, another media outfit was waiting for you to take you out. You were tired, you still had to go. That is going beyond your personal comfort to ensure that you dish out knowledge. Why are people of influence not always, identifying with stuff like this in this part of the world?
Well, different strokes for different folks. I'm passionate about helping humanity. Hence, I prefer to be addressed as a social engineer. A social engineer is someone who creates this new mindset that especially young people ought to follow, because we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, and expecting a different result, So for me, it's just how it's a personal thing, because doing things in this kind of line helps me to heal. I'm not a saint. I'm not. I may have been celibate for a while, but the fact that I enjoy talking with my fellow men, I enjoy exchanging, challenges, what's happening in your life. We need to always be talking, and I'm glad that I've been able to, that's the way I'm wired. What can I say? I've been wired like that for over 50 years, so I can't stop doing those things because it makes me feel useful, and youthful.
Youthful at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. Doris, you mentioned quite some of them, but I don't know if there are still more you can say. Lifestyle changes. Let me even ask you, can diabetes be reversed?
Yes.
It can be cured. Or is reversal the same as cure? I don't know. Educate me, please.
That's what I was about to say. I don't know about being cured, but it can be reversed. Reverse is, it's like when you're driving a car, you reverse, you go back. You go back to where you started. Like your body you can reset your body. I think that's the better word. You can reset your body. I talked about the two hormones that is responsible.
The GIP and then GLP-1.
Yes.
Okay.
It will there's some point that your body will get to. Not only is it going to be blind to insulin, when it stops making it for a while because of the things you put in your body and because of some other factors, because your body works like messenger. There's a hormone that's responsible for taking a message to your brain and say, okay, brain, tell the intestine to make this GIP hormone that we need it now. The brain will look at it and respond and say, it hasn't made this for a while. Obviously, the body don't need it anymore. So it shuts that factory down.
Okay.
It's not making. So when you start to reverse is when the message goes back to the brain and say, no, we need it. That was a malfunction. It has been reset.
Okay.
Which there are a couple of medications now where people are saying, oh, it's curing diabetes and helping people to lose. People are using it to lose weight. Those medications now to lose weight. And these two hormones that I mentioned to you, because they regulate the sugar and take it to where it's supposed to go, so it doesn't convert to fat and go to where they're not supposed to go. So it helps people lose weight. But the problem with those medications are they are synthetic. They are manufactured in a lab. Okay. So what it's telling the body is, when you start to take those medications, it will tell the body, stop making this. You don't need to make it anymore. This factory needs to be closed, needs to be shut down. And it will shut down. Your body won't make those hormones anymore because artificially it's coming in. But the problem with that is, at some point, it will start to cost you a lot. You become sick. You become sick. Sometimes it will give you cancer. Sometimes it just brings a lot of other foreign things that your body don't know about.
Okay, so what lifestyle, if we don't want to go the synthetic way, what lifestyle changes can we
See,
adopt that
some-
can reverse?
Sometimes
Okay.
food is supposed to be medicinal.
Okay.
There are a lot of things in the food you eat. You just need to find out those things that you can eat that can reverse things. There are some food you find. See, those things that are synthetically made, those medications, there
Yes.
are food that contain those elements. You just need to research, ask questions, ask nutritionists, ask doctors. Where can I get, from what kind of food
Can I get the same,
same thing? And when you
elements?
start to eat those things, okay? So now there's a study that's been done in Harvard and some other schools, well-known schools, that salt. I know that if you're diabetic, you're told not to eat a lot of salt. But there's a particular salt. Don't know if you're familiar with pink salt.
No, I only
Okay,
know
there's
white
a-
salt.
There's a salt that is pink. I use it. I like to use it
Okay.
to cook. I use it. So this salt, it has over 86 elements in it. Potassium, calcium, and all that. And scientists have found out that if you take that salt, combine it with some things like lemon, vinegar, and some other things, and drink it, it will help your body to start naturally producing
insulin.
GIP, not
G-
insulin,
GIP
GIP
and
and
GLP-1.
GLP-1.
Okay.
Okay, they say that it works almost 30 times better than these medications that I'm telling you now that is in the market. One is called Ozempic, the other one is called Monjaro. And each of those medications, one vial is over $2,000.
Wow.
Yes, and some people have been on it for years.
For years.
All right. So, but this, they call it pink salt trick. A lot of Hollywood stars are using it, including Oprah.
Okay.
So there's some things in the food they collected from food, like green tea extract and some berries. They extracted those elements, compounds, combine it together with this pink salt, and you take it. And what you do is it will kickstart the production of these two hormones in your body naturally. So it doesn't have any side effect.
Let me ask one question that might sound stupid. I hope I'm not asking too many questions.
No.
They say if you have too much sugar in your blood, some say if you take bitter things like bitter leaf and what have you, it can reverse. Or you see people drinking bitter leaf extracts and like that, and they are eating them. Is it true or is just fat?
It's not fat, because I remember about 4 or 5 years ago, there's a study that was done, and now, there's bitter leaf pills, bitter leaf tablets that you can eat. Yes, there are bitter leaf, the tablets are made from bitter leaf. You can take them. So it makes sense if if sugar and you make it
Bitter.
combine bitter, it will dilute
it.
it dilutes it. So it makes, from a literal
Point of view.
it makes sense.
All right.
But scientifically too,
It's been established.
yes, it has been established that
Alright.
you can take
Bitter things.
bitter things, to counter the effect of high blood sugar.
Right. On the very last note, the further. Charlie Boy Foundation. We can't but talk about it anyway. How far do you want to stretch this? The possibilities of achieving what you want to achieve on this
First of
foundation.
all, after I'm done conquering Nigeria, I think it has to be the continent of Africa, because this is one problem that affects a lot of men. you know, like you've heard so many times over that it's a black thing, more or less. So yeah, I'm hoping in the near future it's going to be turned into something much, much global. You know, when you start to, in the twilight of your years, as a man, you know, it's always good to just keep moving. Keep your body in motion, keep your mind activated and in motion. I remember so many moons ago, so many years ago, you know, especially when I was in America, I used to hear things like African man, no, they get that kind of depression or frustration because we're built strong and all of that. A big lie to that too. I think a big lie. If you know the amount of people, because of course the economy, the insecurity, the hardship of life in Nigeria. Now person will never see money chop. I want to buy drug, which is where I come in to say, please, prevention is better than cure. And that's where my advocacy starts and ends up. My own is to call attention, to say this thing is not supposed to really injure anybody like that. But if we all do the right thing and take our body as a priority, then maybe we can just escape all these challenges.
Right. You heard it all. Take your body as a priority and do what you have to do. Lifestyle matters. I mean, the choices you make in your lifestyle really go a long way in reversing some of these ailments that you were not born with in the first place. We consume a lot of stuffs on a daily basis. We've been addicted to sugar and what have you. And I now learned that even beans is not protein. It's actually sugar at the end of the day. All right. That is Men's Health Unscripted. For this period, I'll be back some other time. I want to say thank you to area father Charlie Boy himself, and Doris Udensi, the CEO of the Charlie Boy Foundation, and of course to the Leo Stanley Foundation, who is bankrolling this also. And to the rest of you who are still trying to sit on the fence, hey, there is no space on the fence any longer. Join the foundation. Join us in combating all these untimely death in men. We are meant to live. Somebody was asking me what will kill a Briton below the age of 80, because they take care of a lot of things about the health. Let us get to a point where we can ask what will kill a Nigerian below the age of 80, and that takes beyond lip service. It takes moving from talking points to doing points, like joining us on Men's Health Unscripted. Every time we post, engage, comment, share with your people, and of course you can reach out to you see the contacts there. You can reach out to Charlie Boy Foundation there and see how you can lend your own support financially, materially, and even human resource wise. My name is Ayo Jimmy. I'll see you some other time. Bye bye.